Tonight marks the 34th event in Survivor Series history, the second longest running pay-per-view in the history of WWE, just behind WrestleMania. Like any wrestling show, it's had its ups and its downs, and its middles too. With that being said, there have been several iconic moments in the history of the event. Great matches, iconic spots, and of course, unforgettable debuts. If you want to debut in WWE, there's one of three places to do it: WrestleMania, the Royal Rumble, or Survivor Series. Forget SummerSlam, basically. There have been several debuts in the history of Survivor Series, almost too many to remember. So today I'm just going to point out the best 5. This list shouldn't be controversial because most wrestling fans have similar opinions, so I should have nothing to worry about. With that being said, let us begin. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and here are the top 5 best debuts in Survivor Series history.
Number 5, The Rock, 1996.
Now, this is only number 5 because, well, it had a crappy gimmick. This has nothing to do with The Rock himself. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. If you want to see the actual list, you can click here. But the point I made still stands. Quite frankly, Rocky Maivia is a gimmick that is not looked back on fondly by most wrestling fans. I mean, it was the same bland babyface shtick that we saw with 2010's John Cena and 95% of Roman Reigns' career. So, put 2 and 2 together and you should know how it went. I mean, sure, he got an IC title run out of it, but how'd that go? There were Die Rocky Die chants. You should know how it went by now. Thankfully, a heel turn happened. He joined the Nation of Domination, and 2 years later, at Survivor Series, go figure, he won his first ever WWF Championship by aligning with the corporation, a Royal Rumble win, some WrestleMania main events, and some iconic feats later. Dwayne Johnson is one of the most successful people in the entire world. And it all started at Survivor Series 1996 in Madison Square Garden. By the way, good place to debut.
Number 4, The Shield, 2012.
When you look to see where each member of the Shield is now, all things considered, they're doing pretty darn good for themselves. Roman Reigns is the current Universal Champion and probably the best heel character in WWE right now. Seth Rollins has had a pretty good character for just over a year, and he just got out of a really long and really excruciating feud with the Mysterio family, and he and Becky Lynch are expecting a child. Congratulations to them. Speaking of expecting children, Jon Moxley, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, is expecting a child with his wife, Renee Young, and on top of that is the current All Elite Wrestling World Champion. That's pretty good. Now, the debut itself is kind of weird, because at Survivor Series 2012, it was a triple threat match. John Cena, CM Punk, Ryback, WWE title on the line. Ryback looked to have the match won when 3 dudes in turtlenecks came out and beat the crap out of everybody, powerbombing Ryback through the table. The powerbomb was pretty cool. The turtlenecks were not. Turtlenecks aside, what happened after is unforgettable. They had a hold all the gold moment, and they each won the WWE Championship by pinning each other. Fun fact. In terms of singles runs, they've had varying degrees of success, but together, most of the time, they were a cohesive unit. And it's sad to think that we're not going to be able to see them together anymore because of Moxley's current relationship with WWE. But we will always have the memories of one of the greatest factions to ever step foot in a professional wrestling ring.
Number 3, The Elimination Chamber, 2002.
You heard that right. One of the greatest debuts in the history of Survivor Series wasn't even a person. Don't come at me. Honestly, I feel like I have to have this on here because the chamber match at Survivor Series 2002 is probably one of the best chamber matches of all time, if not the best. I mean, just look at the star power in this matchup. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Kane, Booker T, and Rob Van Dam. That's a bunch of world champions right there. That's pretty impressive. Not only was the match itself great, but it had some gutsy moments, like Triple H finishing the match, even though Rob Van Dam crushed his throat, which is just terrifying to think about. And Shawn Michaels got the big W, winning the World Heavyweight Championship, and I think that is nice. Crazy but true fact, that chamber match is the only chamber match to happen at Survivor Series. Thank God, because if they did it again, it probably wouldn't be good. In all seriousness, that match back in 2002 laid the groundwork for one of the most entertaining matches in recent WWE memory. And seriously, you can't go wrong with a good chamber match, now can you?
Number 2, Kurt Angle, 1999.
Survivor Series 1999 is not particularly remembered as a good Survivor Series. I mean, it had a weird main event involving Triple H, The Rock, and The Big Show replacing Steve Austin. They kept advertising that triple threat match even though they knew Austin was not going to be there because he had a neck problem. Come on, WWE. But besides that injustice, there was one good thing to come out of Survivor Series 1999, and that was the debut of Kurt Angle. One of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time had his first ever WWE match off an Olympic gold medal win that actually happened. That's not just his character. And he faced Shawn Stasiak. What a debut. If I say that, then why do I have this at number 2? I have it here because of what happened afterwards. Kurt Angle is one of the funniest wrestlers to ever exist. We all know that by now. He's also one of the most sound technical wrestlers the industry has ever seen, and he picked it up so quickly. And the fact that he won his first WWE title less than a year after debuting is glorious. He's main evented at WrestleMania, he's won a world championship 6 times, impressive, and he was one half of the first ever WWE Tag Team Champions with Chris Benoit. And we should also mention the fact that Vince McMahon had the genius idea to debut a man who legitimately won a gold medal for his country as a heel. I cannot stress that enough. Survivor Series 99 saw the debut of one of the best careers in professional wrestling history. But what about a debut that led to the best career in professional wrestling history, in my opinion? Well, that's where we bring in
Number 1, The Undertaker, 1990.
How fitting that the best debut in Survivor Series history happened 30 years ago today. When you look at the facts, it might be the best debut in professional wrestling history. I mean, look at the facts. 7 world titles, a Royal Rumble win, a bunch of Elimination Chamber wins, and 21 straight WrestleMania victories. That is unfathomable. We also have to pay tribute to Ted DiBiase because he gave the iconic introduction to The Undertaker as he walked out of the back, all sulking, and it was really creepy and mystifying and iconic. I use the word iconic a lot in these kind of lists, but I genuinely mean it here. No single person in the history of professional wrestling has had the longevity and the popularity that The Undertaker has had throughout the 30 years of his WWE career. Absolutely no one. And no, I'm not being biased just because he's my favorite wrestler of all time. I genuinely mean this. The Undertaker had the best debut in not just Survivor Series history, but wrestling history as a whole.
And that's our list. Thanks for watching. What do you think is the best debut in Survivor Series history? Tell us about it in the comments section down below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe. And you can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Jackson Haney from Insane Internet Wrestling, and I will see you soon.